Welcome back to State of the Union. I'm Jake Tapper. In the days since her defeat by Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton has been pretty busy. She was spotted walking her dog in the woods of Chappaqua. She handed out thousands of red roses to her campaign staff to thank them, and she at least partially pinned the blame for her loss on the FBI director. Clinton telling donors on a conference call yesterday that the first letter released by Director Comey stopped the momentum she had built after the debates and the release of Trump's Access Hollywood tape, and that it was too much for her to overcome. Let's talk about that and much more with filmmaker Michael Moore, who tried to warn his fellow Democrats of a Trump win on this show, on his blog, and elsewhere. Thanks so much for joining us, Michael.
Thanks for having me, Jake.
So what do you make of Hillary Clinton telling donors on Saturday that FBI Director Comey is at least largely to blame for her loss? Do you agree? Is she in denial? What's your take?
I think it's part of it, absolutely. And I've actually called upon President Obama to appoint a special prosecutor as soon as possible to investigate how it is that the FBI director was able to interfere with an election, which I believe is not legal, and help to tip the balance in what was going to be a very close election. I think not only should people speak about it, it needs to be investigated.
But let's talk about one of the other weaknesses, clearly, of her campaign, which you were talking about months ago, which is the fact that there wasn't really any sort of direct economic outreach or plan to working-class white voters in places like Michigan, where you're from. Ed Rendell, the former governor of Pennsylvania, telling the New York Times that the Clinton campaign failed to spread its vast resources outside Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. He wanted the Clinton campaign doing more in the rural white pockets of the state, saying, quote, "We had the resources to do both. The campaign," and this was coming from her campaign headquarters in Brooklyn, "didn't want to do it." Do you think that this is also a large part of what happened?
Yes. I think that also was part of it. I think, how many months was it before she hadn't been to Wisconsin? I know she hadn't been to Michigan much. There was a rush trip at the end there to Grand Rapids. But, you know, I mean, where I come from, where I live in Michigan, so we're used to both parties. The Republican Party, which controls the State House and the governor in Michigan, has contributed to poisoning the people of Flint and still hasn't fixed the problem. So we're used to the treatment of that party. We're also used to the neglect, the benign neglect from Democrats, or I should say the old school Democrats, who basically, once they get in, have a hard time dealing with, especially cities that have large minority populations, or in the case of, say, Flint or Detroit, these are majority black cities, and they largely go unignored. They get a lot of lip service. And the funny thing is that Donald Trump kind of saw that and made that point, even though he will be the last person to visit Detroit or Flint to help us. And I think that the people that voted for him in Michigan are going to, again, be up for another rude awakening when they realize he's going to not do a damn thing to make the situation better, and probably will make it worse.
Obviously, a lot of people who supported Hillary Clinton are trying to figure out how to deal with this new world order. Oprah Winfrey, for example, making headlines, angering a lot of Clinton supporters with comments that she made about Trump and Obama. Take a listen.
I just saw President-elect Trump with President Obama in the White House, and it gave me hope.
Good.
Gave me hope. I mean, I have to say, to hear President-elect Trump say that he had respect for President Obama, it felt that he had reached a moment where he was actually humbled by that experience. I think everybody can take a deep breath.
What do you think?
Well, that's why we love Oprah. Somebody needs to say that. We do need hope. I was hopeful when I saw the two of them there because Trump looked like he didn't belong there. And he felt so uncomfortable in his own skin sitting there in that chair, you know, just like, and Obama, I think we counted 15 or 16 ums as he was trying to say something nice. Look, that's the sideshow that has to happen in a week like this. But frankly, you know, Democrats would be better off if they ran Oprah or Tom Hanks. Or why don't we run beloved people Why, I mean, we have so many of them. The Republicans do this. They run Reagan and the Terminator and other people. Why don't we run somebody that the American people love, that they are really drawn to, and they're smart and have good politics and all that? Why don't Democrats do that? I'm telling you, Jake, my sincere hope is that the DNC, that there is a clean sweep in this party. They all have to go, and they have to make room for the progressive Democrats who are going to come in here, are going to be needed to fight the things that Trump is going to do to the people of this country and the world. And we need young people and women and others who are going to really be the voice of this party. Not the same old. Clearly people wanted change. I think everybody's admitted that. And clearly Bernie Sanders represented that. And, you know, I was at the demonstration yesterday, and there were Trump people there on the sidewalk. And I went over and talked to them. And I said, you know, would you have considered voting for Bernie Sanders? And they said yes. They were just mad at the system.
Well, let me ask you this. So that's the big question. What do the Democrats do going forward organizationally? Do they double down on progressive views, the kind espoused by Bernie Sanders? Do they try to reach out to somebody who understands the working class white voters that voted for Donald Trump in droves? A fight already underway for the DNC chair. Several people have put their names forward, including Howard Dean, Martin O'Malley, Congressman Keith Ellison, who has the support of Bernie Sanders and Chuck Schumer. Who do you think the party should go with? Yeah,
Keith Ellison, that is the exact way to go. That is the future. You know, we live the fear that I think a lot of white voters have is that they know the truth, which is that, as the Census Bureau says, before 2050, white people are going to be the minority in this country. For the last 2 Septembers now, the majority of kindergartners entering school in America are not white. That's the new America, and we need to have a party that's going to represent the majority here that's in the future and not the past.
All right.
So I hope that happens, but people need to be out in the streets, and it's not just about the white working class. Right now, all white people need to be concerned about how afraid Muslims, African Americans, Hispanics are right now.
I need to cut you off. I'm sorry.
I know. I'm so sorry. No. I wanted to make that appeal because I worry about what's ahead.
A lot of people out there are very worried. Donald Trump, thank you so much, Michael Moore. We appreciate it. Donald